Hey guys, Chicago injury lawyer Scott DeSalvo here, and I'm shooting you a new video today about the topic of how I turned a zero into a six-figure settlement for my client. So this involved a motor vehicle crash, and there were multiple parties and multiple defendants. And without getting into too much detail to protect privacy, we will say that I represented a guy who had spoken to some other lawyers and decided to hire me because I thought I could get him some money on the case. Evidently, he spoke with some other lawyers who were skeptical, but they still wanted the case. But he didn't like the vibe. He didn't like the vibe, I guess. So he hired me, and there was substantial sums involved and real substantial injuries. So there were other injured people involved. There were there were just multiple people involved in the case. And we got to the point in the case where the other side decided, hey, let's go to the bargaining table. Let's all sit down and see if we can't come to a solution where the entire case gets settled. And I was okay with that idea. And everybody wanted to do what's called a mediation. So that's sort of what happened. We decided to do a mediation. So for those of you who don't know, a mediation is a meeting where you sit down with the judge and everybody involved, and you try to settle the case. And so you get a judge who is usually a retired judge who is doing, these mediation settlement conferences, and you can do binding mediation or you can do non-binding mediation. So they wanted to do a binding mediation. There were strategic reasons why I thought a binding mediation wasn't a good idea. And there's, I hesitate to say this, but unless I know a judge and really know he or she is a straight shooter, I don't know what relationship that judge might have with one of the insurance companies. That, one of those insurance companies might do a ton of business with that judge. One of those insurance companies might have a family member working at that insurance company, or they might be related to the lawyer, or they might be married to the lawyer, or they might have gone to high school or college with the lawyer, or somebody at their law firm where they're going to fight a little bit harder, whether it's conscious or not conscious. My point is, at a settlement conference, I want to maintain the ability to walk away from the table. So in this case, that's exactly what happened. There was actually a legal reason why I think the mediation couldn't be done as a binding mediation, but I was going to object anyway. So I did. We did a non-binding mediation. Pardon me. And the mediation basically took all day. And basically the way it worked out is everyone wanted to blame my client for the car accident. Everyone. The other plaintiff's lawyers wanted to blame my client. Basically everyone. Everyone wanted to blame my client. And after we were at the mediation for like 2 hours, the judge came back and told me that they didn't want to pay anything. And I told them, okay, then the mediation's over. We'll leave. And the judge said, no, wait. Like, what are you looking to get out of it? And I gave him a number that I thought was pretty reasonable. Evidently, the judge thought it was far too high. The initial number somebody gives in one of those things is always higher than the number you actually will agree to put in your pocket, right? So Reader's Digest on this thing is, we went back and forth for another couple hours, and at some point the number they were offering was so low and the judge was indicating it was the end of the road, I advised my client that we should just walk away and let's just go to trial on it. In fact, to this day, I wouldn't mind going to trial on the case, even though it was a case that was a really hard case, and even though we're talking six figures. I did not like, some of what went on at the mediation, and, I wasn't super happy about it. But here's what happened. I spoke with the client. I said, look, those numbers are ridiculous. The judge is indicating that we're, at the end of the road, and we're at the end of the 4-hour mediation, and the judge has another mediation this afternoon. So he can't continue. But they might want to do a second session. But if they're at their bottom number, I'd rather just go to trial on it. And so the client was, God bless him, he really understood some of the challenges we faced in the case. Some clients are overconfident, and then when you actually get into court or you actually get into a deposition with them, they fold, they panic. They're afraid, or they no-show. They don't show up. But when they're in the comfort of my office or at home and just talking, they're very bold. But, when the rubber meets the road, they don't show up, or they start to realize what I tell them earlier in the case about the challenges is true. So, I could tell my client was disappointed and a little upset and stuff like that. And yeah, I get it. So, we talked about it a little bit, and I just told him, like, if that's, here's my plan. If that's all they've got, they wasted our time. So that's what we did. I told the judge came back and asked me, what do I think? Blah, 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 blah. And I just told him, look, that number and nothing like that number is going to get the case settled. So thank you. I'm sorry we couldn't get it done. Thanks for trying. And, I told him, like, we all agreed to be reasonable at the beginning of this, and I think the only people who have been reasonable is me and my client, and I think everybody else has been completely unreasonable. And I think they're all existing in an echo chamber. They're all sitting in a conference room together, talking and saying the same things back to each other until they convince themselves it's true. Well, we'll see. So the judge was shocked. The judge didn't think we were going to walk away, and he's like, wait, let me go talk to him. And when the judge told me that privately, then I came back into the room with the client. The client was now having second thoughts. He's like, should we take it? This could happen, that could happen. Should we just take the money? I'm like, honestly, with the money they're offering right now, I'd rather just go to trial. But, this is what I tell everybody. I tell them, like, look, it's your case. So if you want the money, we'll take the money. But, I'm not going to, I'm going to tell you whether I think it's fair or not. I don't think it's fair. So if you really want the money, I'll have you sign something that it's against my advice, and we'll take the money. But, I'd rather just try it under these circumstances. Anyway, Reader's Digest. Reader's Digest on this whole thing is, after more back and forth, we finally got into six figures. We got the guy a nice six-figure settlement. He was happier. I mean, he wasn't ecstatically happy, and why would you be? Because, a lot of these settlement conferences and a lot of these maneuvers that insurance company lawyers do, and frankly, even the judges, the judge's job is to resolve the case that day, and the judge was able to do it, so that's cool. But my point is, it's good idea to have a lawyer on your side when you're there, because they wear you down, they manipulate you psychologically, and it becomes becomes a real problem. So that's sort of what happened in this one. I mean, I was very glad we got them to come up. We got them into six figures, and I still would not have mind trying the case, but at the end of the day, I got to do what the client tells me to do, right? So the client was happy with the outcome. He understood the challenges with the case, and sometimes you have to compromise. But, it was a case that was a zero. There was no offer going in. And in fact, I've talked to a couple of my lawyer friends and told them what happened, and they're like, yeah, you're crazy. You should have taken any money they gave you and wrapped it up and called it a day. And I'm like, I'm not built that way. Something's got to be in the ballpark of fair for me to recommend it to the client. And there's got to be a reason. And the reason can't be my mortgage payment is due. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want my clients making decisions under duress, or just, letting my client get worn down and exhausted, and then, they take short money and then later they regret it. So this one was a win. It was a hard one. I always want to get way more money, evidently, than cases are worth for my clients. I guess it's good. It's my job. But I thought it was sort of a hard-fought one. But, it ended up, if at any point we would have shown weakness or folded, my client would have got nothing or very little. But I studied, we hung in there, and I gave my client some strength to say no. And so he was able to, even though he wavered. And I'm glad we did, because we ended up getting him quite a bit more money. I mean, a lot more money as a percentage of the total settlement. Quite a bit more money. So anyway, that's how that happened. So, I like to tell you guys these stories every once in a while, give you an idea of the inside baseball of how these injury cases and claims go. It's, it's not this neutral thing where everyone's neutral. Whenever there's money involved, the judges want to get hired on multiple cases to be the arbitrator. The insurance companies want to save money. Everybody has an interest in the case, because all human beings have interests in the things that they're involved in. And, you have to go into that with your eyes wide open. And having been injured or involved in an injury event is, whether we admit it or not, it's emotional. And when you're in a competition, which is what an injury case is, people can dig in for good reasons or emotional reasons. And, it is an important thing to have somebody who's been around the block, knows how these cases go, and can handle this business. So anyway, that's really all I got to say about that, ladies and gents. So anyway, worked out for the client. If I can be any assistance to you, please do not hesitate to give me a call. If you or a loved one or anyone you know needs an injury lawyer, that's what I do for a living. So you can always reach me at 312-500-4500. That's 312-500-4500. You can call that number anytime, night or day. It's a free consultation. I listen to what you have to say. I tell you what I think, and if we want to work together, we can work together. So that's how that works. Always free, and that phone line gets picked up 24 hours a day. So if I'm asleep or in court, they're going to, collect your basic information and text and email it to me, and I call you back as soon as I can get to a phone in a quiet space. But you know what? Sometimes you're not ready to talk to a lawyer, or sometimes you want some customized information about your situation without talking to a lawyer. Perfectly okay. I got you covered. There's two really cool tools on my website. One is called the Case Cash Calculator. It calculates what the cash value of your case might be. The other one is called the Good Case Calculator. That one calculates whether you might have a good case or whether you might have weeks with some challenges. So that's how those work. The cool thing about both of them is they're completely free. They're on my website. I'll leave the links in the description. You just go to the link and use the quiz for free. Free and no obligation. And the best part of it is it literally takes about 10 seconds. It's like 7 multiple choice questions that I designed myself based on my years of experience, and it gives you really, really crucial killer information that you need to know about your injury case. So check those out down below. And if you enjoy my videos and you want to be aware of when I release new ones, please give me a thumbs up, click the subscribe button, click the bell so you're notified when I release a new video. I release a new video once or twice a week, every week, on a topic that comes up or based on viewer questions. So if you have a question you'd like me to answer in a video, shoot it over and I'll answer it. How do you like them apples? Last thing is, if you enjoy my videos and you wouldn't mind helping me out, it's a very competitive market for injury in Illinois. So if you wouldn't mind giving me a 5-star review on Google, very easy to do. I'll leave a link in the description. You go to that address on your phone, tablet, or computer. It takes you right to the screen. You click 5 stars, say a kind word, click submit, and just like that, your review is over in about 5 seconds. Easy for you, but invaluable, very nice favor for me that I would really, really appreciate. So that's all I got for you, folks. Sorry if I'm a little nasally. I think we're at the point of the year where the trees are making me have the sniffles. I got a little bit of a runny nose and hay fever, I think. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you and your family are well. Have a great day. Take care.